Hi there, it's me, Teacher Mike from phuketpals.org. Welcome back to another video. Today we are quite lucky to have Mr. Eman, our head of maths, with us. So we're going to talk about everything GED maths and everything in between. So if you find this video in any way useful, please subscribe to the Phuket Pals YouTube channel and also hit that little bell, that notification bell. That will make you a much smarter person if you do. So, how are you today, Mr. Eman?
I feel great, and I'm happy to be here.
Oh, good stuff. Positive thinking.
Yeah.
My goodness. We could do with more of that in the world, don't you agree?
Okay, let's see.
All right, so you're the head of mathematics and head of the GED program for mathematics here at Phuket Pals. What do you see with the students that take the GED maths test? Which part of the test do they find most difficult?
Considering the concept, the concept covered by the GED math, or concepts that are included in the GED math, it's not hard. It's all actually basic. But the only problem that most students feel difficult is the form of questions, because most of the questions are asked in a form of problem solving, and they need to reason out. So it's really important that they can understand the question and they can express it into mathematical expression so that they can easily solve it.
Okay. I hear like a lot of our viewers on this YouTube channel say that they have problems with the algebra on there, especially people from North America for some reason. What advice do you have for people who are struggling with algebra?
With algebra? Actually, algebra is easy. Okay, for me it's
not
still
easy for me.
Yeah, it's still the basic of higher math. And in order for you to understand and to do the higher math, actually you should have the basic knowledge of algebra, because algebra is very, very useful in when you go to trigonometry and geometry. However, in GED you don't need to dig deeper into trigonometry and geometry. It's just the basic algebra. Actually, if we're gonna compare it with IGCSE, IGCSE covers Algebra 1 and Algebra 2. But for GED, it just covers the Algebra 1. So it doesn't need to go too deeper into the concepts of algebra. I think the main reason why most of the students feel difficult with algebra is still goes back to the basic number sense, basic operation of number sense. Because algebra, the foundation for algebra also is actually based on the number sense, the operation of whole number, rules in evaluating decimals, fractions. Because if they already forgot the lessons, they how to with the basic, they will really have a hard time doing the algebra, because it has an additional components, which is the variables, the unknowns, but the operations is still based on the basic.
Okay. I think back when I was at school, and I got rid of maths as quickly as I could. And I remember when the letters started coming into maths, that's when I lost interest. And I think there's many of the viewers to this channel are kind of telling me something similar. It's a lot of people are saying they did the algebra a long time ago, but now they can't quite remember and they struggle to get into it. So apart from we have some algebra videos on this channel, but outside that, what practical things can students do to get back in the game for algebra, with algebra? Sorry.
Actually, it's easy. First, all they need to do is before going back to that algebra, to just take a look at the basic. try to look at the basic operations, the basic concepts on exponents and exponents rules, roots, and other number properties. Actually, if they've already studied algebra and the basic of math, it is easy for them to remember how to work on with algebra. Because if they can remember the basics, all they need to understand with algebra is the additional rules, especially if they will be working with variables.
Okay, so it's a matter of kind of refreshing what they might have forgotten and then practicing until they kind of strengthen their skill. Is that right?
Yes, exactly.
So can you? That's great, and I'm sure that acts as I'm sure that gives some people hope and gives some acts as a confidence booster for those who are struggling. But can you recommend a website or a textbook for GED in which students could do this?
Actually, for GED, okay, as of the moment, the best book that I've seen is actually the GED McGrawhill book.
Again, that's the fifth.
Really,
that's the fifth time we've mentioned McGraw-Hill this week. So McGraw-Hill, if McGraw-Hill are listening, we want some commission off these. Thank you.
Because actually, the presentation of McGraw-Hill is very simplified. Actually, it does not present any other concepts that won't be useful or won't be needed on the GED test. They just focus on the skills that are really important when they do the test.
What's that McGraw-Hill book called? What's the title of the book?
I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's the GED test preparation.
Oh, it is. Yes,
Yeah.
it's the McGraw-Hill GED test preparation book. So if you type that into Amazon or whatever else, it should come up first one. Yeah, that book is useful. It's also useful for the RLA, especially it's quite good for the reading component. But let's not drift into RLA in this particular video because we're here to discuss the world of mathematics for this video. So anyway, next question. Let's say you have a student who is taking their GED maths test in 30 days time. This student is moderately confident in mathematics, but they wouldn't say I love maths and I'm really good at it. Okay, they have to do the test in 30 days. What would be your advice as a kind of crash course? What should they do in those 30 days to make sure they get let's say at least a 145 pass?
Actually, at first they should the student should understand first how the questions are being constructed in GED, or how it is being formed. They should understand the different types of questions, GED types of questions. Okay, by understanding the GED type of questions, they may set a time frame. Which particular part of the concepts that they need to improve more, and focus less on the parts that they are already good at. And the second thing is they should understand also the components of the GED math questions, because in GED math questions it focuses on real life scenarios, and sometimes based on my experience, many students are tricked by the question, because in some cases the students really know how to solve. They really know what to do with the operations. However, they get the wrong answer because they forgot to really see what is being asked in the question.
This is something I've heard this mentioned many times before at GED annual conferences about the maths test in particular. There's a lot of close reading required for the maths test, and often students will just focus on those math skills when they're preparing, but then not focus on reading the words closely enough.
Yes.
So students, I think in their prep, students need to make sure they're zeroing in, focusing in on those questions to make sure that they understand them.
Yes. Actually, before they tackle the question, before they answer the question, they should understand first what is being asked in the question. Then set a plan on how they are going to find that answer. And sometimes, actually not just sometimes, most of the time, the solving, the operation is just a part,
Okay.
but not the answer. It's just a way to find the answer,
Okay.
so that you may have a reason why the answer is in that form.
Okay. And what about some students say that they feel they're in the maths test, they feel they're under a lot of pressure for time. Do you have any tips for answering questions more quickly, or for answering all the questions? In what order should they do them in, or what do you advise?
Actually, some of the tips that I can share is first is they should be mindful with the question. They should always look at the question. If at first glance of the question and it seems that they don't have the idea how to do it and how to answer it, just skip it first. Okay,
flag it.
Just flag it and skip it and move it first to the next question.
Can I jump in one second? For students out there who don't know what flagging it means, on the interface when you do the GED test, you have the option of flagging a question, which means you hit the little flag. That means then you come back at the very end of the test, you can come back and reassess or look again at the questions you flagged.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's okay. And then move on to the next question. Then if the questions is okay and he has an idea or she has an idea what to do with the question, then they can do it. However, during the process, if it seems that it's already taking like a minute or 2 minutes already on one question, and it seems that he still has a long way to go, then it's better to flag it also.
Okay.
Okay, to click the flag so that he or she can come back to that question. Okay, the second one is most of the question on the GED test are multiple choices. So it means answers are already in front of you. So if the questions are already in front of you, all you need to do is pick which one is the correct answer. And sometimes the clue are actually on the question itself. Okay? Sometimes even the question requires you to solve, but actually, since you already have the choices, sometimes you don't need to solve because you already have a clue. Like for example, a question about slope, because slope is a common question actually. Question about slope is very common on the GED test. Now, sometimes on the question, the questioner gave you all the details that you need to solve for the slope, and but the question is actually focusing on like what is the slope of the line perpendicular to the given line. Now, by just looking at the slope of the first line, because it's already given, you can already identify which one. All you need to do is remember the concept of perpendicular lines.
Okay. Almost like a shortcut.
Yeah, shortcuts like actually perpendicular lines, and actually the hint that I keep on giving my students are just remember the opposite and inverse or reciprocal. When we say opposite, if the slope of the first line is 2, so or positive 2, so the slope of another line that is perpendicular to the first line should be negative because the first one is positive. Then reciprocal or inverse, so the inverse of 2 is 1/2. So the answer should be minus 1/2. So it means you just look at the choices. Okay, you identify which one is a negative, which one is 1/2. Then just choose that answer, because the other components actually is not needed anymore.
Okay.
If you understand it.
Okay, that's a useful tip, and I'm sure you've got lots more tips like that. But
Yep.
we're kind of running out of time for this video. we don't want people to fall asleep while watching it, so we'll have to cut it short. But anyway, thank you, Mr. Eman. You're a wealth of information here at Phuket Pals on the GED Maths test. Okay, so again, if you've made it this far in the video, I hope you found it useful. Don't forget to subscribe to the Phuket Pals YouTube channel and hit that notification bell. It's oh so important, so we can help more kids and adults just like yourself pass this test. So it's goodbye from me.
Okay, goodbye.
All right, have a good day. Bye bye.